If you're looking into joining the military for their education benefits, do not make the same mistakes that I did. I recently received a comment on one of my videos telling people to join the military for X-ray. The program is half the time and has a higher pass rate than most schools. And I have a few things to say about that. For those of you who don't know, I actually served in the Air Force as a ground combat specialist with the 820th Base Defense Squadron. Those were the worst years of my life. If you are looking into joining the military specifically for education benefits, then it's really important that you understand what you're getting yourself into. When I joined, I already had an associate's degree in surgical technology, and I was a certified surgical technologist. I had just finished schooling and I was in the process of applying for jobs, had a few offers, but I didn't know if that's really the route that I wanted to go. My dad had retired from the Air Force, and I figured, well, if I can retire in 20 years, then that would be worth it, and the military will put me where they think that I will best fit. A huge mistake. In the living situation that I was in, which was not bad, and I was very fortunate to be in the position I was. However, I wanted to get out, as every 19-year-old wanted some freedom, right? If you want freedom, you don't join the military. If you want to leave for basic very quickly, your recruiter will encourage you to go into a job that is open. So open general, open whatever. Open general is what I went into because those are the medical positions that fall within that category. I don't have a lot of details about the other categories or how all of that works. Talk to a recruiter if you are interested in doing that. However, do not go into an open position, because what happens is you will get a quick ship date out to basic training. There's a wish list where you write down 8 of the jobs that are open that you qualify for after taking your ASVAB. You get a certain score, and then the jobs equate to that score that you're able to go into, and you write a list of 8 of your top choices. Well, what they don't tell you is that you could not, you're not gonna get your first top choice. You're not gonna get your second. I didn't get any of my 8 choices that I put on that list. After you choose your jobs for that list, then you go in and you meet with some sort of an interviewer. Mine was Staff Sergeant Luther McDaniel. When you go into interview with this individual, you can tell them, hi, I have an associate's degree in yada, yada, yada. I have experience with this. I scored this on my ASVAB. This is what I'm really interested in doing. And guess what? It doesn't matter. None of it matters, because they have a list of jobs to fill, and then they plug people in as if they are not human beings. And it doesn't matter where they put you, to them, that's what's written in stone, and you cannot change it. I know that you can't change it because after I got my assignment and my AFSC, my job code, I actually marched myself down to the office and requested for them to reconsider what they were doing and to see if I could speak to Staff Sergeant McDaniel. They completely blew me off, and they were unwilling to do anything about my assignment. Now, the one good decision that I made while I was in basic training is to opt into the Montgomery GI Bill, or the post 9/11 GI Bill. If you are looking into joining the military now in 2024, then you will be eligible to receive that post 9/11 GI Bill. What I can't find stated online, but I know from experience, is that they do charge you $100 every month for the first year of service in order to receive benefits after you graduate basic training. Now, some of you who are hurting for money right now might be thinking, I could do a lot with $1,200 or however much it is now. I'm not sure if it's changed and I can't find information about that. But I'm telling you, it is absolutely worth it if you plan on going to school after you do your time in service. Your GI Bill will offer you 36 months worth of benefits, This will pay the school directly for their tuition, and it also gives you a basic housing allowance to kind of offset cost while you're attending college. As long as your service to the military ends after January 1st of 2013, then your benefits will not expire. This means that if you spend the next 5 years just doing jobs around your town or different side gigs, and you realize that you might benefit from a vocational school or college or certain standardized training, then you can use your benefits still. Something that can disqualify you from receiving those benefits is if you are not honorably discharged. So if you did something bad that you're kicked out of the military for, then your education benefits could disappear. And also if you only serve 35 months or less. So you need to serve 36 months before you are eligible to receive these benefits. 36 months is only 3 years, and from what I remember, you can either sign up for a 4-year or 8-year term whenever you enlist. So as long as you serve your full term, then you should be able to qualify still. So the specific payments that you can receive from the GI Bill, the tuition is paid directly to the school, up to $27,120 a year. So private schools are more expensive. You might need to check out how much they actually cost before you decide to attend that college. There's a book stipend that's paid to you, and that's up to $1,000 a year. So that depends on how many credit hours you're actually taking. If you're only like a part-time student, then you won't get the full $1,000 each year. Your housing allowance is paid directly to you. That is at the rate of an E5 with dependents. In my area, that's about $1,700 every month. And then there's also a $600 buy-up program where you can receive from $5 to $150 extra per month. That buy-up program you have to opt into while you're in basic training and signing up for the GI Bill. I wish that I would have done that, but I didn't, because I didn't think that $5 to $150 was going to be a lot. But with the amount of schooling that I've had so far, that adds up way past $600. So if you're planning on doing that, then I would spend the extra $600. One mistake that I have seen other students do is they do not apply for their federal student aid. When you are using your GI Bill, you can still qualify for federal student aid. So apply for your FAFSA and see if you're eligible. Whenever I started my associate's degree, I was a young mom of a 1-year-old, freshly married, just moved to my state after being discharged from the Air Force. My husband was just discharged like a year prior, and he is figuring out his life, and you know, he's a personal trainer, and I was working a front desk job at a hospital, and you know, we weren't making a lot of money. But once I started school and started getting my GI Bill benefits and the money from the FAFSA, I was making more doing that, like going to school, than I was at my front desk job. That was such a huge blessing that I wouldn't have received if I didn't just randomly hear somebody talking about applying for their FAFSA when using your GI Bill. You are allowed to double dip. It is not cheating the system. You qualify, and you should take full advantage of it for your family. There was a student that cycled through my hospital as a second year. He was just about to graduate in a couple of months, and he told me that he was using his GI Bill. And I said, that's great, wonderful to hear that. Are you also using your FAFSA benefits? And he said, what? I said, yeah, you can get a substantial amount of money to help with your living expenses by applying for your FAFSA every semester. So I told you how I went in open general in order to get a quick seat to basic training, but that's not a good idea, right? So what should you actually do? When you go in to talk to your recruiter, you need to specify what job you are willing to take and make sure that it's in writing that you sign for that specific job before you leave for basic training. Now, this means that you might have to wait in order to get a seat to go to basic training. This wait could be a couple weeks, a couple months, a couple years, depending on how much the military needs that certain job filled. That's how long you're gonna have to wait. And your recruiter can discuss that with you. But it is so worth the wait to get the job that you actually want to do, rather than get stuck with something that you're gonna hate. If you do wait for a rad tech job or a radiography job in the Air Force or military, then you will go to tech school after basic training. Tech school is a fast-paced learning environment similar to a college, where they will teach you how to do the job, and then you go to do the job. And yes, it is going to take less time. However, I would imagine that it would be more stressful. In tech school, if you cannot do the job, if you cannot pass the test, if you do not meet their expectations, then they could completely wash their hands of you, and they could say, all right, you're discharged, you're not going to receive any benefits, you're not going to get any sort of recognition that you were ever in the military because you never finished tech school. However, you still went through those 8 weeks of basic training, and it was all for nothing. Another option that they have, if you cannot meet their expectations, is they could change your job for you, and now you are responsible for doing laundry or being a cook or doing something else that does not require a high ASVAB score, if you can put it that way. This is what you risk whenever you decide to go into the military. In basic training, I had a best friend who actually waited for her job to be a radiographer, and she waited for the job. She went to basic training with me. I met her there. We had a grand old time, and then she went to tech school. I'm not sure how long her tech school was or what the requirements are, but she finished tech school. It wasn't until after, I think she had her second child, that she was tasked to deploy. You are not safe from having to deploy if you choose to become a radiographer in the Air Force. I don't believe that you receive your degree after tech school. You would have to take more classes alongside of working your actual job through, most people use the Community College of the Air Force, CCAF, in order to do your like English and math and that sort of thing. And then you could receive your associate's degree through the college, but you're not automatically given that after you finish your tech school. I went onto the website for the ART to see what the requirements were for military members, and it looks like going through tech school does qualify you to sit for your boards. I imagine that you would have to pass your registry in order to receive your first duty station in the Air Force, but if somebody actually has experience with that, then they can let us know. Now, the commenter that I had mentioned previously in this video, they mentioned about like the military has a higher pass rate for the registry than colleges do, even with a shorter program. And I'm not sure where they're getting that statistic from, because I can't find anything online about that. However, with the military, they so easily get rid of people who aren't going to do well. There are different phases in tech school that you have to complete in order to get to the end. So with my tech school, if you weren't able to fire a gun accurately enough, then you don't get to move on to the next phase, right? I assume that if you can't pass a test in one of their phases, then you won't be able to move on to the next phase that might be where you need to be in order to sit for your registry. So it's not that the training is better, it just means that they're getting rid of the people who aren't going to pass before they sit for their registry. Similar to college, you have to receive a certain grade in order to progress to the next semester, right? But the military is just ruthless. They'll cut you whenever, wherever. They don't care about you. So if you got nothing else from this video, please, please, please do not go in to an open position, open general, and also use your FAFSA benefits along with your GI Bill once you are ready to attend college. Whether you choose to go into the military or not, that is absolutely your decision, and I'm so thankful for those of you who do give up their freedom in order to protect ours. I hope that all of you stay safe, and I will see you in the next one. Bye, guys.